The sky over the city of New Haven was bright and clear one morning, but that peace did not last. Without warning, massive ships descended from space, casting dark shadows over the streets. Ordinary people ran in panic as the ships fired beams of energy, tearing through buildings and cars. Jack Miller, a young man of 28, ducked behind a ruined wall, trying to shield his little brother. Sam, nearby, Lily Bennett, a schoolteacher, grabbed her students and led them into the basement of her apartment building. The aliens, called the Varkans, were unlike anything humans had seen before. They were tall, with shiny, armored skin and glowing eyes. Their movements were fast and precise, and their weapons were far stronger than anything Earth had. Jack watched in horror as a Varkan reached down and grabbed a man in the street, lifting him into the air before disappearing into their ship. Screams filled the air, and the smell of smoke and burning metal covered the city. Governments scrambled to respond. Fighter jets rose into the sky, trying to attack the alien ships, but the Varkans moved too quickly. Energy shields on their ships made the jets' missiles useless. Radio messages crackled with fear as cities around the world reported similar attacks. Jack realized that this was not a small invasion. It was global. The Varkans had come to hunt humans. In New Haven, chaos ruled. People ran blindly, some trying to find their families, others searching for shelter. Lily led the children through dark streets, covering their mouths to hide their fear. Jack and Sam moved cautiously, helping an elderly neighbor to a safer place. The streets were filled with overturned cars, broken glass, and the groans of those injured in the initial attack. Amid the panic, news of a mysterious figure began to spread. A man named Daniel Price, known as a bounty hunter, had been seen taking down small groups of Varkans with skill and precision. Unlike the armies that failed to stop the aliens, Daniel moved through the city quietly, striking without warning. Rumors said he had special weapons and suits that could protect him from the alien technology. Some people even whispered that he was part human, part something else, but no one knew for sure. All they knew was that he fought back while the rest of humanity ran. Jack and Lily heard of Daniel as they took shelter in the basement. They wondered if anyone could really stand against these invaders. They also feared that if no one could, their families might be lost forever. Jack promised Sam that he would do everything to keep him safe. Lily made the same promise to her students, reassuring them even though she herself was terrified. The Varkans did not just attack for destruction. They were capturing humans. People were taken from homes and streets, disappearing into the alien ships. Each disappearance was a reminder that humans were being hunted like animals. Jack and Lily saw families torn apart and knew that if they stayed in one place too long, they would be next. During the first day of the invasion, Jack and Lily found themselves in the remains of a library. Shelves lay overturned, books scattered across the floor. They used the books and furniture to barricade themselves, but they knew it was only a temporary solution. They listened as the sounds of the Varkans moved closer. The aliens were methodical, searching for humans with precision. Jack whispered to Lily, "We can't stay here. We have to move before they find us." As night fell, the city became even more dangerous. Fires burned in several areas, and the air was thick with smoke. Jack and Lily led their small group through back alleys, avoiding the main streets where Varkans were patrolling. The sound of alien ships flying overhead was constant. The city they had known all their lives was now unrecognizable. Each corner brought new dangers: fallen beams, broken glass, and the constant threat of discovery by the Varkans. Despite the fear, Jack and Lily found moments of courage. They helped a mother and her child escape a burning building. They guided a group of neighbors to a safer street. Every small act of bravery reminded them that humans could survive even in the worst conditions. But they also knew that survival alone was not enough. They needed a plan, and they needed help. That help seemed to come in the form of Daniel Price. Stories spread of him striking fear into the Varkans. One survivor described seeing him jump from a rooftop, take down a Varkan with precise shots, and vanish before more could arrive. His skill and courage gave people hope, a flicker of light in the darkness of the invasion. Jack and Lily realized that they needed to find him if they wanted any chance of fighting back. The first night was long, intense. The sounds of destruction continued without pause. People whispered prayers, comforted children, and tried to stay quiet. Jack held Sam close, telling him stories to keep his mind off the chaos. Lily did the same for her students, telling them that adults were working to keep them safe, even if it didn't feel that way. They all hoped for a miracle. By dawn, the city was scarred but still standing. The Varkans had claimed part of it, but they had not taken everything. Survivors moved cautiously, looking for safe places and for others who could help them. Jack and Lily decided to head toward the outskirts, hoping to find food, water, and perhaps Daniel Price. They knew it would be dangerous, but staying in one place was no longer an option. As they walked through the rubble, they saw signs of resistance. Graffiti on walls, messages scratched into concrete, showed that humans had begun to fight back. Some had taken weapons, some had barricaded buildings, and some were simply hiding, waiting for a chance. Jack and Lily realized that they were not alone in their struggle, and that gave them courage. The first part of the invasion had shown humanity at its weakest, but it also showed the beginnings of resistance. Jack, Lily, and their small group were determined to survive, and they hoped that finding Daniel Price could turn the tide. The aliens had started the hunt, but humans were learning to fight, to hide, and to resist. And in the shadows, the story of a bounty hunter who could strike back against the invaders was just beginning to spread. The sun rose over the shattered city, casting long shadows over the ruins of buildings. Jack Miller, Lily Bennett, and their small group of survivors moved cautiously through the streets. They had managed to avoid the Varkans during the night, but the city was still crawling with alien patrols. The sounds of alien footsteps, energy weapons, and distant explosions were constant reminders that danger was everywhere. Jack led the group to a safe house that had been used by neighbors for hiding. Inside, the air was thick with dust and tension. People huddled together, whispering stories of their encounters with the Varkans. Jack looked at Sam and promised that he would do everything to protect him. Lily, holding her students close, felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her. She knew she could not fail them. Meanwhile, across the city, Daniel Price was already moving. He had been tracking a group of Varkans that had taken several humans the previous day. Using the rooftops, shadows, and his advanced suit, Daniel moved quickly and silently. His knowledge of the Varkan technology gave him an edge that ordinary humans did not have. He could see the faint hum of their energy shields and predict their movements. Every step he took was calculated, every action precise. Daniel intercepted the Varkans near a damaged warehouse. The aliens did not notice him until it was too late. With a quick motion, he disabled their energy weapons, using a device he had crafted from salvaged human and alien tech. One by one, he took them down, freeing the humans they had captured. The survivors were frightened, but grateful, their hope renewed. Daniel did not linger. He vanished into the shadows as quickly as he had appeared. Back at the safe house, Jack and Lily discussed what they had heard about the mysterious bounty hunter. The stories were almost unbelievable, but they gave the group a spark of hope. If one human could fight the Varkans successfully, maybe there was a chance for everyone else. Jack suggested they try to find Daniel and ask for help. Lily agreed, knowing that staying hidden was not enough. The group prepared for the journey. They gathered supplies, weapons, and whatever they could carry. Every step outside the safe house was dangerous. Broken streets, fallen power lines, and abandoned vehicles created obstacles. But the biggest threat was still the Varkons. Jack and Lily led the group carefully, avoiding main streets and staying in the shadows. As they moved through the city, they saw signs of human resistance. Graffiti on walls encouraged survivors to fight. Some had made traps for the Varkons, using whatever they could find. Small groups of humans had begun organizing themselves, learning to defend against the aliens. Jack and Lily realized that while the Varkons were powerful, humans had something they did not: creativity and determination. Meanwhile, Daniel continued his missions. He scouted alien supply routes and disrupted their operations. By freeing captured humans, he not only saved lives, but also gained allies. He began to notice patterns in the Varkons' movements and discovered weaknesses in their technology. Each small victory gave him more confidence and strengthened the growing legend of the Hunter of Shadows. One night, Jack, Lily, and their group reached an abandoned subway station. It offered shelter and a chance to rest. While Sam and the other children slept, Jack and Lily discussed their next steps. They decided to split the group, with some continuing to search for Daniel, while others stayed to protect the vulnerable. It was a difficult decision, but necessary for survival. As Jack's group moved further into the city, they encountered a patrol of Varkons. The humans froze, unsure of what to do. Just as the aliens were about to spot them, Daniel appeared from above. Using his advanced suit and weapons, he took down the patrol swiftly and silently. Jack and Lily watched in awe. Daniel motioned for them to follow, leading them to a hidden base where other freed humans were gathering. In the base, humans worked together to prepare defenses. They had barricades, improvised weapons, and a plan for survival. Daniel shared his knowledge of Varkon weaknesses, showing the humans how to protect themselves and strike back when possible. Jack and Lily learned quickly, realizing that survival was about more than hiding. It was about fighting smart. Over the next few days, Daniel led missions to sabotage Varkon supply lines. Jack and Lily joined him, discovering courage and skill they did not know they had. Each successful mission brought more humans to their cause, building a small but determined resistance. The city, once filled with fear and despair, began to show signs of hope. Despite the successes, the Varkons were relentless. They adapted to human strategies and increased their patrols. Jack, Lily, and Daniel knew that the fight would not be easy. Every step forward came with risk, and every decision could mean life or death. Yet, the humans were no longer hiding. They had a leader in Daniel and a plan to defend themselves. As night fell again, Jack looked over the city from a rooftop. Fire still burned, but the streets were no longer completely empty. Humans were beginning to fight back. Lily joined him, holding Sam close. They both understood that this was only the beginning of the long struggle against the Varkons. But they also knew that with courage, strategy, and the right leader, humans could survive and perhaps even win. The first successful counterattacks had shown that the Varkons were not invincible. With Daniel Price leading the way, ordinary humans were discovering their potential to resist and fight back. The city, though scarred and battered, was becoming a symbol of humanity's resilience. The story of survival was turning into a story of resistance, and the humans were learning that they were not prey. They could be hunters too. The city of New Haven was no longer a place of simple survival. Streets that had once been full of terror now echoed with cautious determination. Jack Miller, Lily Bennett, and their small group of survivors had learned to move quietly, avoiding Varkon patrols and using the ruined buildings as cover. With Daniel Price guiding them, they were no longer merely hiding. They were learning to fight. Daniel had gathered a small team of humans willing to stand up against the Varkons. Each person had a role: scouts, defenders, and saboteurs. Jack and Lily had been trained in basic combat and tactics, making them more than ordinary survivors. They knew the city better than anyone, understanding the hidden paths and secret tunnels that could be used to their advantage. The first major strike came when Daniel led a raid on a Varkan supply convoy. The convoy was moving through the outskirts of the city, carrying captured humans and alien weapons. Daniel and his team had planned the attack carefully. They waited until nightfall, using the shadows to approach undetected. Jack and Lily positioned themselves near the convoy's path, ready to help Dot as the convoy approached. Daniel signaled the attack. Using precise timing, humans on rooftops and in the streets disabled the alien vehicles. Explosions lit up the night sky, and the Varkans were caught off guard. Daniel moved through the chaos like a shadow, taking out Varkans with skill and precision. The humans freed the captured people, guiding them to safe areas. It was the first clear victory, and the survivors felt hope for the first time. The news of the raid spread quickly. Other humans in the city began to rise, inspired by Daniel's courage. Small resistance groups formed, and humans started to fight back in their neighborhoods. Jack and Lily helped these groups, teaching them what Daniel had shown them: how to use the environment, how to move silently, and how to strike effectively against the aliens. Daniel's strategy was not just about fighting. He focused on intelligence, observing the Varkans' patterns and predicting their movements. He studied their communication, their patrol routes, and the weaknesses in their technology. Using this information, the humans were able to plan raids that caused maximum damage with minimal risk. It was a game of patience, skill, and cleverness. One day, Daniel led a mission to infiltrate a Varkan command post. Jack and Lily were part of the team. The building was heavily guarded, but the humans used their knowledge of the city to approach from the back, avoiding main entrances. Daniel showed them how to bypass security systems and disable traps. Every step required concentration, and one mistake could cost them their lives. Inside the command post, they found records of the Varkans' plans, maps, and schedules. Daniel instructed Jack and Lily to copy the information while he set charges to destroy the post. As they worked, alarms began to sound. Varkans had discovered them. A battle ensued, with humans using guerrilla tactics to fight the aliens. Explosions shook the building, and energy beams cut through walls. In the chaos, the team escaped, carrying the valuable information. The raid was a turning point. Humans now had knowledge that could help them predict alien attacks. They could plan defenses, avoid ambushes, and launch counterattacks. Jack and Lily felt a surge of pride. They were no longer helpless civilians. They were fighters, part of a larger effort to protect their city and their families. Daniel continued to strike at Varkan supply lines and outposts. Each mission brought more humans to the cause. People who had been hiding in fear now joined the resistance, motivated by the small victories. Communities started organizing defenses, setting traps, and sharing intelligence. The city, once a place of despair, was turning into a battlefield where humans could fight on equal terms. Jack and Lily grew stronger with each mission. Jack's quick thinking and knowledge of the city made him an excellent scout, while Lily's calm leadership helped others stay focused under pressure. Together, they became trusted members of Daniel's team. They experienced fear and loss, but also courage and triumph. Every freed human and every destroyed Varkan outpost reminded them why they fought. The Varkans began to realize that humans were no longer passive prey. The strikes were coordinated, unexpected, and damaging. Daniel's tactics forced them to change their strategies, spreading their forces thinner and making mistakes. The humans' creativity and determination were proving to be as dangerous as their weapons. One evening, after a long day of raids, the team gathered on a rooftop overlooking T City. Fires still burned in some districts, but signs of human resistance were everywhere. Survivors moved with purpose, barricades were strengthened, and patrols were more alert. Daniel spoke to the team, reminding them that the fight was not over. There would be losses, but their courage and skill could change the outcome. Jack looked at the city below, thinking of Sam and the other children they had saved. Lily placed a hand on his shoulder, silently sharing the determination to keep fighting. They understood that this was more than survival. It was a battle for humanity's future. The humans' first successful counterattacks had shown that the Varkans were not invincible. With Daniel Price leading the way, ordinary people were becoming heroes. The city was no longer a place of fear, but a symbol of resistance. Humans were striking back, proving that courage, ingenuity, and determination could challenge even the most advanced alien invaders. And in the shadows, the story of the Hunter of Shadows continued to inspire hope across a world under siege. The Varkans were growing frustrated. Their forces had been spread thin, and the humans, led by Daniel Price, had struck repeatedly at their supply lines and outposts. The city of New Haven was no longer an easy target. The humans were organized, creative, and determined. They had learned to fight back with strategy and intelligence, and the Varkans could not ignore them any longer. Daniel gathered his team in a hidden base beneath the ruins of an old factory. Jack and Lily were there, along with several other fighters who had been trained and inspired by Daniel's tactics. The plan was risky. They would infiltrate the Varkan command ship, destroy it, and eliminate the alien commander leading the invasion. "This is dangerous," Daniel said, looking at each member of his team. "We will be outnumbered, and one mistake could cost us everything. But if we succeed, we can turn the tide of this war." Jack clenched his fists, thinking of Sam. Lily nodded, thinking of her students. Everyone understood the stakes. They prepared their weapons, checked their equipment, and reviewed the plan one last time. The tension in the room was high, but there was also determination. This was their chance to strike back where it mattered most. The journey to the command ship was perilous. Daniel led the team through ruined streets and abandoned tunnels, avoiding Varkan patrols. They moved silently, using darkness and cover to their advantage. Every step brought them closer to the alien stronghold, and every shadow could hide danger. Jack and Lily stayed close to Daniel, trusting his experience and skill. As they approached the ship, they could see its massive size hovering above the city. It was heavily guarded, with energy shields and patrols around its perimeter. Daniel studied the patterns of the Varkans and found a weak point, a small entrance used for supply runs. It was narrow, dangerous, but it was their only chance. The team infiltrated the ship through the supply entrance. Inside, it was dark and cold, with corridors lined with alien technology. The humans moved carefully, avoiding patrols and disabling security devices. Every corner brought new risks, but Daniel's knowledge of Varkan systems guided them safely. Suddenly, alarms blared. They had been spotted. Varkan soldiers rushed toward them, and the humans had to fight for their lives. Daniel moved with precision, taking down the aliens with his advanced weapons. Jack and Lily fought bravely, using everything they had learned. The corridors were filled with the sounds of battle, energy beams, and shouted commands. They pushed forward, reaching the heart of the ship, the command center. The alien commander, a towering and ruthless Varkan, waited for them. Its glowing eyes locked on Daniel, and it let out a roar that shook the walls. The humans prepared for the final battle. Daniel and the commander faced each other in a tense standoff. The alien was strong and fast, but Daniel used his knowledge of Varkan weaknesses to his advantage. The fight was intense, with Daniel dodging attacks, striking quickly, and using the environment to his advantage. Jack and Lily supported him, fending off other Varkan soldiers and keeping the path clear. Finally, Daniel saw an opening. He struck with precision, targeting a weak spot in the alien's armor. The commander faltered and collapsed. The humans quickly planted charges throughout the command center, ensuring the destruction of the ship. Alarms continued to blare, but they had completed their mission. The team raced through the corridors, escaping just as the charges detonated. The command ship exploded, sending shockwaves through the city. The Varkans were stunned, their forces thrown into chaos. The humans had delivered a decisive blow, and the invaders were forced to retreat. Back on the ground, the city erupted with cheers. Survivors emerged from hiding, witnessing the destruction of the alien command ship. Daniel, Jack, and Lily stood among them, exhausted but victorious. The humans had shown that they could fight back, that they could challenge even the most powerful invaders. The battle had come at a cost. Many humans had been injured, and some had been lost. Daniel and the team mourned their losses, but they also celebrated the victory. The story of the humans who had struck back against the Varkans spread quickly, inspiring other survivors across the city and the world. Jack looked at the ruins and thought of the journey they had taken. From hiding in basements to fighting alongside Daniel, he realized how much they had grown. Lily smiled, thinking of her students and the courage they had all found. The humans had learned that bravery, strategy, and unity could overcome even the greatest threats. Daniel addressed his team one last time. "This is not the end," he said. "The Varkans may return, but now they know that humans are not easy prey. We have shown what we can do when we fight together." The humans began rebuilding, stronger and wiser. Jack and Lily returned to help their neighbors and protect the city. The survivors organized defenses and prepared for the future. Humanity had faced near destruction, but they had fought back and survived. The story of Daniel Price, the Hunter of Shadows, became a symbol of hope. His courage had inspired ordinary humans to rise up, to resist, and to strike back. The Varkans had learned that Earth was not a world to be conquered easily. Humans were resilient, clever, and brave. The final confrontation had changed everything, proving that humanity could stand against even the most advanced alien invaders. And in the hearts of the survivors, a new determination burned, to protect their world, no matter the cost. The city of New Haven was quiet now, but it was a quiet born from survival, not peace. Fires that had burned for days were finally extinguished, and the smell of smoke lingered in the air. The streets were still damaged, and buildings were scarred by the battles, but humans were walking freely for the first time since the invasion. Jack Miller, Lily Bennett, and their small group of survivors had emerged from the shadows. Their faces marked by exhaustion, but also determination. Daniel Price, the legendary Hunter of Shadows, stood on a rooftop overlooking the city. His eyes scanned the horizon, watching for any sign of the returning Varkans. The alien commander had been defeated, and the command ship destroyed, but Daniel knew the fight might not be completely over. Still, for now, humanity had won a significant victory. Jack and Lily moved through the streets, helping survivors and organizing efforts to rebuild. They found families who had been separated during the attacks, reunited them, and helped them find shelter and food. Children laughed again, though cautiously, and neighbors began to cooperate, sharing supplies and watching out for one another. A sense of community was growing stronger each day. Daniel worked quietly, repairing and modifying the weapons he had used against the Varkans. He trained small groups of humans to defend themselves, showing them how to use alien technology they had recovered. Jack and Lily joined him in these lessons, learning not just how to fight, but also how to lead. Their experience in the battles had taught them courage and strategy, and now they could pass that knowledge to others. The survivors formed small defense squads to patrol the city, ensuring that no Varkan remnants could take advantage of the chaos. Streets were cleared, barricades were reinforced, and lookouts were posted on rooftops. Humans were learning to be self-reliant and vigilant, prepared to protect their homes and families. The sense of fear that had gripped the city was slowly replaced by confidence. Jack took responsibility for a district where many survivors had settled. He organized teams to rebuild homes, distribute food, and maintain security. Lily did the same with schools and shelters, ensuring children were safe and cared for. Together, they became local leaders, respected for their bravery and dedication. They understood that rebuilding the city was not just about repairing buildings, but about restoring hope. Daniel continued to explore the possibilities of human and alien technology combined. He found ways to enhance human defenses and create tools that could help humans anticipate attacks. His work was meticulous, and he involved others in the process, teaching them to think strategically. Humans were no longer passive victims. They were becoming capable defenders. News of the humans' victory spread across the world. Other cities, inspired by New Haven's resistance, began organizing themselves. Daniel and his team traveled to other areas, helping humans learn to fight and survive. The legend of the Hunter of Shadows grew, and so did the belief that humans could protect themselves against even the most advanced alien threats. Despite the successes, life was not without challenges. Supplies were limited, and the city had been heavily damaged. Many people had lost homes, loved ones, and livelihoods. Jack and Lily worked tirelessly to help the survivors, coordinating efforts to rebuild infrastructure and provide support. Their determination inspired others to contribute, and slowly the city began to recover. One evening, as the sun set over New Haven, Jack and Lily stood together, watching children play in a safe courtyard. The laughter of the children reminded them of what they had been fighting for. Daniel joined them, and together they reflected on the journey that had brought humanity from despair to hope. The Varkans had hunted humans, but now humans had learned to strike back and defend their world. Daniel addressed a group of survivors, young and old alike. "You have all shown courage beyond measure," he said. "You have learned to fight, to protect, and to survive. This is just the beginning. We must remain vigilant, continue to learn, and be ready to defend our planet if necessary. But know this, humans are strong, clever, and resilient. We will not be defeated easily." Jack and Lily helped organize celebrations to honor those who had fought and those who had been lost. Stories were shared, songs were sung, and communities came together. The city, though still in ruins, was filled with life and hope. Humans had proven that they could survive, and they had discovered the power of unity and courage. As the weeks passed, New Haven became a model for other cities. Defense squads trained civilians, schools resumed classes, and communities worked together to rebuild. Daniel continued to teach, lead, and protect, but he also encouraged others to become leaders in their own right. Jack and Lily became central figures in the human recovery effort, their bravery and experience making them natural leaders. The Varkans, though temporarily defeated, were never forgotten. Humanity remained vigilant, understanding that the aliens could return. But now humans were prepared. They had learned to fight, to strategize, and to protect their own. The city of New Haven had become a symbol of resilience and determination, showing the world that humans could rise from the ashes and defend their planet. In time, humanity expanded its defenses, sharing knowledge and technology across the globe. Survivors who had once been terrified became warriors, teachers, and leaders. Communities that had been destroyed were rebuilt stronger and better prepared. The story of Daniel Price and the humans of New Haven spread across the world, inspiring courage and hope everywhere. Jack looked at the bustling city streets, thinking of how far they had come. Lily smiled beside him, watching children play and neighbors work together. Daniel, standing nearby, observed with quiet satisfaction. Humanity had faced annihilation and survived, not through luck, but through courage, intelligence, and unity. They had proven that even in the darkest times, humans could rise, fight, and triumph. The story of the invasion would never be forgotten. It became a tale of heroism, resilience, and determination. The humans of New Haven had shown that they were not prey, but hunters, defenders of their world. And though the future held uncertainties, one thing was certain. Humanity had risen, stronger and wiser, ready to protect their planet against any threat that might come again.